dwarfs who lost many lives, making the mount their own. At the base of the mount, the bloodstone dwarves built the forge of a blacksmith's dream, using lava that ran through the mountain's veins, flowing in molten streams. For many a year, the bloodstone forge made weapons of great renown, and their crafting of items of every stripe was praised from town to town. Over time, bloodstone dwarves garnered respect, and their influence grew quite fast. With access to their forge, one could assume a fortune could be amassed. This thought crossed the minds of the evil mirage, who sent trolls to overtake the mount. So now they're in charge, and the dwarves displaced, and thus ends the account of the dwarves of Great Blood Mound. "3NG presents Hey, It's Grandel," the musical.
Oh my gosh, we're here. We're back. We're on the internet. It is Dungeons and Dragons, the musical, part 2. I am not alone because I had very little to do with this. I'm just here for these guys as a support system. Adam, Tommy, welcome, my friends. Are you guys excited?
Couldn't be more excited, Rich. This is really just thrilling.
It's a great day.
It is a great day. It's a great day. I'm just tempering myself so you guys can begin the hype train. I am so fired up. There's a whole bunch of people hanging out here with us in Twitch as we're about to live premiere The Journey Home, a D&D musical, the second of your creation. And so I'm psyched to have you guys here for this before it fires up. I know you guys have some stuff you want to talk about before I push play. So yeah, I'd love to talk to you about that stuff. You guys were talking about the stuff you learned during the process of the first one. So I'm curious, what that was about for you. What did you guys learn? How'd you approach this differently this time?
Gosh, it really was night and day. I think, I'm so glad to have Tommy here as well to get to chat about it. I remember that first musical, Tommy. It was 30 days from when we started to when we premiered it. And that was it. Like, that was the full timing for this. And obviously, like, we're here 6 months later. So it's taken us a long time. And that was like one of our very intentional goals, was to take our time, like slow down, and just make sure that what we were actually doing was of like a quality that we could like be really proud of. We really loved that first one, but like we really wanted to make sure that we came in strong for part two, and I think that we've done that.
Yeah, and for the sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say, Tommy, I definitely think you guys have. I've heard like barely anything of it, and if you guys like made the first one hastily, then my God, like you all better brace yourselves out there, because the first one was extraordinary. Tommy, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, with the first one, I felt like we thought as we went a lot of the times. Like it was like, all right, this song, let's go, let's get it today. And this one was a lot more, let's get the story, let's see where we want to go, figure out how we want to create the sessions, how we're going to do all of this jazz. And it was a lot more, like Adam said, we took a breath and was like, all right, let's look down the line instead of like each yard at a time.
I mean, I love that. It mirrors like what's kind of happened, and Adam could speak to it, and as can you now, Tommy, is like the process of us DMing this game, right? At this point, there are like 9 official DMs. We have a ton of other people coming in to like DM for us all the time. 50 some active players. Like it's been a learning process, right? Like as we go, we learn what we're doing, and certainly Adam could speak to the fact that like he got a lot of pressure from the DM team, like, hey, so you guys should play more D&D for the next musical. And I understand that you did, right? You guys like played a pretty good amount here, I think, right?
We did. And so we played a lot of D&D for this one. The first musical, we just played out that final battle at the Forge with the trolls. And this time we played out 7 different things total. 7 times we sat down to play D&D, and we played for about a total of, I think, 8 or 9 hours of just straight D&D to fit into this musical. And it's like so funny to see all the things that made it into the musical that weren't part of the sessions, and all the things that like these little nuggets of like, you know, this person said this one thing and it made it into the musical. So we played a lot of D&D to put into this musical, which actually like goes to the point that Tommy was talking about that we wanted to focus on for the second one, which was the story. And so with that first one, we knew kind of what we wanted to say. We knew the story we were going to tell. It was just going to be this fun, you know, hey, it's Grendel, right? Like they're going to the Forge, they're doing it. Brace yourselves. That is not the situation. And for the second one, we are much more story centered. And I think like one of our main goals, or at least one of my main goals in our first talks with me, Tommy, and Todd was, we want this to be more emotional and more invested in the characters, because I think that and Rich, I know you've talked about this before, but like one of the things that we've seen here in the PSR Discord of people playing their characters is that they've become so invested and they have such a sense of who their characters are, and we wanted to do that justice in this story, and we really put an emphasis on that. And I think we've gotten there. I think when you're going to hear these characters singing and talking and experiencing this thing, you're going to see their characters' personalities shine through.
It's a thing we talk about a lot as DMs, where because of the structure of the game we have this perpetual play-by-post town that exists, and then we do these play-by-post adventures that are really long. And so the community that we have playing, our players and us as DMs, we get to like really live in this game in a way that like most people don't in a traditional D&D campaign, right? You get together every week, every 2 weeks, and you play with your friends, and then you walk away from the table. And I think for most D&D players, they're present in the character for those 3 hours a week, you know, and then they got to go to their work and their lives and their jobs. But a lot of us spend our weeks hanging out with each other in the play-by-post channels in PvP Town, and it just creates this depth of connection between each other, certainly as a community, but with the players and the characters that like, God, it's like unrivaled. I've played a lot of D&D, you guys, and like the investment in this space is second to none. Like it really, it's pretty exceptional. So I'm glad that you guys were able to like capitalize on that a little bit. You want to talk about the specifics a little bit?
Let's get a little specific, I think, because
please.
it might be a little confusing what you're about to hear. So story-wise, big picture, one of the things that I have like really fallen in love with are the Ravenloft domains of dread. And we've like talked about them a good amount, all of like that, Strahd stuff. I love it. And so when we started this musical, that was right around the time that Van Richten's had come out. And so I had been, thumbing through that, going through, it's one of my all-time favorite books. And I found this domain of dread called Blutzber. And so that's where we're going today. And so one of the appealing things about the Domains of Dread is that there is always sort of this like Dread Lord or Master of the Realm or what have you. And we have created perhaps my favorite character that I've ever had a hand in creating, the Lord of Blutzber, who is responsible for this dread domain, this dread realm that all of these characters are about to get taken to. And so what you're going to hear in this musical that lasts about an hour and 40 plus minutes is the introduction to all of these characters that you know and love, your friends. You're going to see them, or rather hear them, being taken through the mist by the Lord of Blutzber to Blutzber. But they're not being taken together. They're all being taken separately. And the story that unfolds is those 7 sessions that we played out of each of them finding their way through the mists to each other and ultimately encountering this Lord of Blutzber in their endeavor to come home together. And so I won't give too much away here, but that's what you're about to hear over the next hour and 45 minutes.
I love it. I know that you've fallen in love with Ravenloft this year. Like, my history with Ravenloft goes back to when I'm a 10-year-old kid, right? And so it's so great to me to see something so classic about D&D. Ravenloft, it's got just a huge kind of place in the history of the game. And now in contemporary 5th edition, Curse of Strahd is the beloved adventure for most people, right? They've printed it twice even. Wizards of the Coast loves it that much, right? So to see you guys do something original and collaborative as like a team, because you had a team here with you, right, Adam? Like, it's not just you running it solo. And
Not
with
at all.
something so classic, oh man. I love it. I love to see it. Yeah. So, what else should we know?
I think that's about it. The only other thing that I can think of is that, like I said before, the journey home that we're about to go on together is emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, if you're not in the headspace to hear that at this point, there is absolutely no shame in putting this off, closing it, and coming back later. Always, take the time that you need, take the space that you need. We fully endorse any and all self-care that you need to take. But fair warning, the journey that played out, and all the players can reaffirm this to the nth degree, was quite emotional. And I think that we have captured that emotion as best we can.
Specific content warnings, anything like in particular, other than like general, like harrowing emotional experience, right? I think that like that's the gist of like what you're trying to get across. This is going to be heavy. Ravenloft is a dark place. It is the like campaign of horror. We are in the spooky season, and so this is not like lighthearted spooky. It's heavy spooky, right?
Yes.
Anything else like specific that we want to flag, or we're in pretty good shape there? Like just general dread.
Yeah. I think me and Adam are on the same page here. I think it's a lot of just like putting these characters in a certain headspace, and so it's a lot where we're at.
Okay. No spoilers, heavy headspace, dark themes, emotional toil and turmoil. Anything else you guys want to hit on? I know we talked about the process. We want to talk about that afterwards, or
We can get into the specifics after, I think,
Okay.
would make sense.
okay. I think that with that, without further ado, all of our friends here in the chat, please let me know if our audio like gets wonky. Keep me posted. I think I've got all of this figured out. Bear with me one moment here while we make this happen. I want to do this. I want to share some music. Ooh. Ooh, okay. Oops. We don't need that on the screen, do we? Let's make that go away. What's this? Is this art by the legendary Sean Yannell? Why, yes. Yes, it is. And I think that without further ado, I shall hit play.
Enjoy.
"3NG presents The Journey Home, a post-show recaps Dungeons and Dragons and Discord musical. As your day begins, you think to yourself, it's going to be a good day. Some might even say, a great day. And you head down the streets of your town, sun shining, birds singing, all right with the world. But slowly you notice a change. A thick, purplish mist begins to form around your feet, growing and growing until you're surrounded on all sides, and all of your vision is obscured. There's a brief moment of disorientation, and you suddenly find yourself elsewhere. Somewhere alien. Before you stands an unfamiliar figure, tall and lanky, drow-like features with purple skin, his robes seemingly made from the same mist that brought you here. He flashes you a disconcerting, almost sinister smile, and then begins to speak.
Welcome to my humble little home, but you should know you will never leave again. I've called you here to witness my new plot. It's very fun. So be my audience, my friend. So now would you call me? Oh, well, my friend, let's see. Been known as king and god for sure, but for this brand new game, I'll choose a brand new name and simply be the Lord of the Spur. Now this game is to bring in some prey. My hunger grows, and just one thing can satisfy. I draw my strength from fear and from pain. I eat their woe. I'll torture them and bleed them dry. But who will be my prey? I think that for today, heroic pain's the meal I crave. All of their glories, high tragic backstories. I'll show them all that they're not quite so brave. I'll pluck them from their plane like I plucked you. They'll have no choice but to come and be my guest. Then I'll make them face down their greatest fear and crush their souls. The pain of heroes, it tastes the best, but which heroes to pick? Which souls will I make sick? I've scoured all the plains, both near and far. Now I've narrowed it down to one particular town. I've set my sights on good old Clarendar. Let's peer into my crystal ball and listen in to their deepest hopes and fears. Should I pick one of the bards? That pirate elf? Wanda could keep me fed for years. Let's see what we can see. Who shall my victims be? There are so many heroes I could choose. So now, friends, settle in and let's let the games begin as I select the ones I will abuse.
The Lord of Blutsburg gestures you closer to him, and you find your gaze drawn to his crystal ball. Inside it swirl shimmering mists, which soon resolve into an image of an armored figure striding down the streets of the city of Glarendar, besides an unusually large lion, on their way to do some charity work. The image zooms in closer, closer, until you feel like you're peering into the very mind of the man named Davrin Kane.
Every morning when I rise, first thing I do is bend my knee and bow my head and speak to Torm the True. I thank him for his blessings and guidance, the gifts I enjoy. A radiant soul and eyes of light, all the powers I employ. And then I rise to face what trials may come, to be there for all who need me under the sun. Then my day begins. I train with sword and spell and steed to save all those in need. I spar and practice every day for victory. Come what may, when Wanda calls, I will be there. I bring Tom's wrath to bear. Fighting evil is my pledge. I'll smite it with Horizon's Edge. In Tom's name, I will stand up to infernal legions. In Tom's name, I will smite down hordes of demons. In Tom's name, I will cross swords with undead assassins. In Tom's name, I will face the wrath of chromatic dragons. Resolute as the mountain before the storm, secure in my duty and faith in my mighty Torm. Every morning when I rise, the first thing I do is bend my knee and bow my head and speak to Torm the True. Vengeance was my only dream, fighting Zaztam's regime to vanquish the evil Thay Red Wizards I must slay. Wanda has become my home, so ne'er will I stand alone, a champion till I am dead, proudly wielding Horizon's Edge. In Torm's name, I will sacrifice my life for others. In Torm's name, I will fight beside my Wanda brothers. In Torm's name, I will strive to become a reflection of Torm's name, though none can match his divine perfection. In the dark, empty night, one pure thought keeps me warm, my trust in the power bestowed by mighty Torm. Every morning when I rise, the first thing I do is bend my knee and bow my head and speak to Torm the True. He calls me to live a life obeyed and sacrifice. Service is my guiding star as I walk through Glarendar. I volunteer, I do my best by Torm's hand. I am blessed. Round those in need, I build a hedge, protect them with Horizon's Edge. In Torm's name, I will stand up to infernal legions. In Torm's name, I will smite down hordes of demons. In Torm's name, I will cross swords with undead assassins. In Torm's name, I'll face the wrath of chromatic dragons. Resolute as the mountain before the storm, secure in my duty and faith in my mighty Torm.
The image in the crystal ball shifts to an interior view. A kitchen where a young woman clad in the garb of a monk growls lightly to herself as she takes some burnt pies out of the oven, sets them aside, and starts writing a note to someone named fight. Once again, you feel as if you're being given a peek inside the mind of the Lord's next target, Tala Petershore.
My whole life has taught me to be cautious. My truest self I always would hide. Wandering place to place, so self-conscious. Never letting them see what's inside. But when others were gone, I would dance till dawn. Through the dark I wandered, trying to survive all on my own. Running through the night, chasing the moonlight, hoping that one day I might find a home. Left with dwarves, not knowing my story, just a name and a token carved in wood. Chased away for trying to protect them. They feared me and maybe they should. So alone I moved on. Still I danced till dawn. Searching the world for my kin. Coming to the town of Clarendon. Running from my past, will it catch up fast? Or do I have a chance to make a new start? Here with Wanda, don't have to be cautious. They accept me as one of their own. Forging bonds through our shared grief and triumph. As a pack, I don't howl alone, with a place to belong. We can dance till dawn, building this life together, racing off to face the unknown. Running with my pack, there's no looking back, knowing I never have to be alone. Running with my pack, there's no looking back, hoping I never have to be alone. Be
The view in the crystal ball changes, leaving the monk and now showing a halfling taking his little dog for a walk through the very walkable city. For the third time, the power of the Lord's crystal ball gives you insight into this stranger, Bram Brambleheel.
A Brambleheel of Hallendos puts family first. That's the hometown motto, that's the chapter and verse. 4th of 9, I stay in line, I'm not much to see. And all my life, that's all I thought I would be. A shepherd does the grazing and a shepherd keeps watch. But one night things got stickier than hot butterscotch. The sheep ran off, then I got lost, a wolf bared its teeth. I honestly thought this is the last thing I'll see. I ran to a pond in the moonlight. A hound found me, it glowed so bright. Licking my wounds, I was left with a gift. And ever since that moon, everything started to shift. A good berry's a gold into the family purse. You're a Brambleheel, my father said, remember what's first. A little growl became a row. I started to see that there might be something more I'm supposed to be. Heading east on barefoot feet, a watchful town where maybe strays could find their way and become found. The song's about the brave and stout, well maybe that's me. Could a hero like that be what I'm supposed to be? Someone here told me a hero's job is to learn. You might have heard of him, he's Rascal Danger Cur. And so I marched into the Umber Marsh and couldn't believe that I met someone who was kinda like me. I talked quietly by the fireside, a kinship found in the moonlight. Tala and Bram, a shift, a pack of our own. I thought, well damn, at least I don't have to howl alone. A warden now with Wanda, like I found a new home. And I've learned more here in Clarendar than I've ever known. With every quest I try my best, but I am still me, and I'm still not sure what I'm supposed to be. I'm still trying to figure it out, you know, who or what I'm supposed to be. Oh, hey, come here, boy. Yeah, good boy. Hey, Pacha, what do you think? Well, you're just saying the same thing I was saying, so... Alright, I'll listen. Really? Oh, I don't know about that. Alright. Okay. You know what? I think I get it. It makes sense, Pacha. Ultimately, no matter what, that's it. If that's what I am, if that's who I am, then everything's gonna be okay. Am I just ordinary and I don't mean a thing? Or could I be a hero like in songs people sing? The druid spell or stupid feller all feels like me, but there's one thing I know that I'm supposed to be. A bramble heel of Hallendos, should family come first? And what's the shifter thing, is it a blessing or curse? An earnest hope, a lycanthrope, it's uncertainty, but at least one thing I know I'm supposed to be. The old magic left by the bright hound, a howl in my chest echoes all round. The wild takes shape like it's always been. There's no need to escape, I trust the beast that's within. No matter what I think or what I'm hoping to be, Patch is right, my pack just needs my loyalty. So trust the pup, he's on the up, and ultimately a dog's best friend is what I'm supposed to be.
One final time, the image shimmers, now displaying an elven woman kneeling in the garden outside of the hold, enjoying being close to nature even within the confines of the city. And, one last time, you are made privy to the inner thoughts of a Warden of Wanda, Eliana.
Lived a life of solitude, not by my choice, rejection and being an outcast, silence my voice. But somehow here in Clarendar, amidst the noise, I found my place at last, and now I rejoice. All I want is to share my healing hands, giving aid and helping others. A solitary life I led as I roamed this land. Now I've found my home. Hesitant and nervously I start to connect. I open up, let down my guard, dig out my neck, and in return I've got him back. Love and respect. Wanda has become my home, a place I protect. All I want is to share my healing hands, giving aid and helping others when I can. A solitary life I led as I roamed this land. Now I've found my home. For many years I had been rejected, tried my best to be undetected. I felt alone, felt afraid, dejected. Oh, shunned so long, this was unexpected. Inside the hold, I now feel accepted. I'll give my best to see them protected. All I want is to share my healing hands, giving aid and helping others when I can. A solitary life I led as I roamed this land. Now I found. All I want is to share my healing hand, giving aid and helping others when I can. A solitary life I led as I roamed this land. Now I found my
These four will be perfect for my snack, 'cause I can tell that each one has something to hide. They're each filled with fear and with doubt that drives them on, but also tears them up. Inside, the elf who's all alone, but thinks she's found a home, and the paladin obsessed with trying to help. The wolf in monk's clothing, fighting back self-loathing, and for dessert, self-doubting shifter. Well, for my next trick, I'll snatch them in my miss and bring them here, but keep them separate and alone. The very air of Butspur, it does oppress and stoke one's fears. It could break those with hearts of stone after they've moaned and cried. I will send them a guide, a fiery spirit to lead them through the fog. I'll bring each to a scene that that makes them feel unclean and drag their hopes and joy into the bog. I'll gut them, well, metaphorically, and then for real, leave nothing but hollowed out shells. The sweet taste of a hero's agonies as I trap them in their own personal hells. It will be glorious, I will be torturous, so many pains and fears for me to mind. But when they want to quit, I'll dangle hope for a bit, yank it away, and then I'll make them mine.
Our four heroes, each going about their daily routines in Glarendar, find themselves suddenly enveloped in thick mist that materializes out of nowhere. As the mist closes around them, there's a sense of disorientation, a feeling of motion, and then the fogs part slightly, and they find themselves in a blasted, blighted, alien landscape. They also find themselves completely alone, the Lord having transported them far away from each other. First, we see Eliana, alone in her thoughts, perhaps a more dangerous place than anywhere else on this plane.
Where am I now? Am I alone again? After finally finding a new home to lose it all is my nightmare. I've too much to lose. Fear cannot consume me now.
Looking in the distance, she sees in one direction a mountain pouring fog, in the other, a large tower. She heads into the fog toward the latter, losing her way until she encounters a fiery spirit.
Who are you? What are you? Are you here to help?
The spirit does not respond, except to beckon her to follow it. With no other options, she allows it to lead her through the dense, obscuring fog. As she marches forward for what seems like an eternity, her faith in the spirit fades.
I thought this was sent by the Seldarine to point me back home. But now I feel such hopelessness. Only thoughts of friends help me to carry on.
The spirit finally brings her to a clearing in the fog. Eliana comes upon a wooded area, trees dying all around her, smoke in the distance, the fire spirit suddenly leaving her side.
No, wait!
But the spirit was gone.
Every time I find some hope, it crashes down at my feet. Up ahead I see some smoke. Perhaps that way lies my salvation.
She comes upon a downtrodden campsite with a small fire burning. Sitting by the fire is a disheveled dwarf who reacts in fear at her approach.
Are you hurt? I won't attack you.
The dwarf relaxes and tells Eliana that, like her, his village was brought to this place with no warning. They had recently been attacked by some goblins, and he had been afraid she was one of them returning to do more harm. Hearing there were injured villagers, Eliana instantly offers to help, beginning to tend to wounds and using her magic to heal a heavily injured girl named Lilac.
I start to help, I don't hesitate. I know how to heal, that is my specialty. To use my gifts gives me purpose again. I once again have hope. I'm not alone anymore.
The villagers pull back a little at the use of magic, but then thank her for her help. The dwarf asks her if she can help them gather more firewood. Happy to help, Eliana goes into the wood, but when she returns, the campsite is empty. Not a soul in sight.
Where did they go? Hello? I just saw them. Were they blinked back home again? Or did they leave? Saw them flinch at my spell when I was first cast out. From where I grew up, is it my magic that drove them away? Was it caused the fear? Was it I who caused the pain? I'm abandoned once again. I cannot. I will not.
Eliana falls to her knees, defeated, giving in. The heaviness weighing her down even more. The first of his victims. Through the mist, we come upon Tala Petrashore, the shifter monk, her face looking determined and resolved.
Where am I now? Am I alone? By myself again? Staying alive is my goal. Cautious but ready.
With nobody to worry about protecting but herself, Tala squares her shoulders and marches into the fog towards the tower. She is soon greeted by the fire spirit, and like Eliana, allows it to lead her through the thick fog.
I follow the light through the mist. The fog presses in. my senses straining, looking for any sign of home.
Tala is led through a parting of the fog into a forest. A cry of fear in the distance catches her attention.
The cry shifts my aim. I rush to help. It's more than survival, trying to protect.
Tala races towards the cry and comes across a young gnome girl cowering beneath a giant white wolf, a dead body clasped in its jaws. Tala shifts into her wolf form and tries to intimidate the beast away, pointing to the girl and crying,
I don't want to hurt you, but you have to go.
Rather than intimidated, the wolf seems enraged. It drops the body and lunges towards Tala.
I miss my swing, my stun denied. It leaps at me, teeth bared and jaws open wide. I strike again, landing a blow to its head. Try to knock it out, and the beast is dead.
The wolf falls dead at Tala's feet, and then shifts into the form of a gnome. The girl rushes past the body the wolf had dropped, a goblin, which Tala now realizes was the cause of the girl's fear. Cradling the form of her fallen mother, tears in her eyes, the girl looks up and screams, "You monster!" at Tala.
I only wanted to protect the girl. Tried to scare it away. Thought that I could stun it. Tried so hard not to kill. But with all my skill, I just made things worse. What is the point? What can I do right? Have I fooled myself? I've tried so hard, but it's no use. Maybe they are right. Maybe that's how the world works. Maybe I am that monster.
Now we peer through the mists once more, coming this time upon the Aasimar paladin, Davrin Kane.
Where am I now? Am I alone? Ricky was with me, but now is gone. I cannot feel him through our bond, which can only mean one thing.
And with that thought, Davrin draws back his blade, Horizon's Edge, and sees it transformed.
It is true, I am now on another plane. The sword symbol now become a deformed brain. It shimmers with power and purple light.
Davrin begins trudging through the mist to the tower in the distance. Soon, the fire spirit appears before him. Warily, Davrin follows it, his divine senses telling him it is neither fiend or undead. Eventually, Davrin is led to a clearing where a man dressed in gleaming armor, shining like a golden star, awaits. As Davrin approaches, the armored man removes his helmet to reveal himself. A bronze-skinned figure with metallic red hair, literal golden freckles across his nose, and purple eyes that glitter like gemstones.
This cannot be. What manner of fiend are you that has stolen my face? Answer me, O fair storm's wrath.
The man chuckles, and now Davrin can see that the figure appears to be not just him, but an older version of him.
I remember this day well, wandering through mist, convinced it was some hell, until I met my older self, who did me the favor of showing me where my future held.
The older Davrin gestures to the swirling mists, and suddenly an image appears. Davrin standing over an endless array of dead, red wizards.
This is your future, the world that you will make. Fate falls before you. Their lives you will take, 'cause in Torm's name you will end their reign.
The younger Davrin stares at the vision, apparent proof that he will one day fulfill his oath of vengeance. But even as he hopes that this is true, there is a question he is compelled to ask.
And what of Charity? Did you learn of her fate? Please tell me. Our future is defined by more than hate. Did you find her? Reunite with her? Discover if she's safe. Does she join us back in Clarendar with Wanda after they?
The future Davrin does not answer immediately, then just shakes his head.
You must let these distractions go. They are not your path. Abandon love, forswear friends. You must embrace your wrath. Your friends will bar you from your goal, will try to curb your zeal as we become the sword of Torm. Our fury they will feel.
Elder Davrin waves his hand again, and the image shifts to show a different scene of carnage. As now Davrin sees himself standing over the bodies of his friends. Every warden of Wanda he could name, lifeless at his feet. As this vision of Davrin stands there, a look of grim determination on his face, blood dripping from Horizon's edge.
This cannot be. Did you do this?
And the Sword of Torm, his immaculate armor gleaming, smiles without any warmth or kindness in his amethyst eyes, and answers.
Indeed.
An overwhelming mixture of fear and anger at the implications that he would betray his friends comes pouring out of Davrin's burning eyes as two beams of pure force race towards his future self. The Elder Davrin counters with eye beams of his own, and the battle begins. Young Davrin slashing furiously with Horizon's edge as his older self parries each blow easily with his own Horizon's edge, as if he knew every move by heart, taunting as he does so.
The only way to reach your goals is severing your ties. Small price to pay to finally strike down those whom you despise. You must accept the truth of this, the stark reality. The destiny which Torm has planned for you is to be me.
The younger Davrin answers only with more swings of his sword and a repeated refrain.
This cannot be. This cannot be. This cannot be.
On and on they battle, seemingly perfectly matched, until somehow, in his fury, one of young Davrin's attacks slips past the guard of his future self, and he feels Horizon's edge slice through the golden armor. In that instant, he releases the rage in his heart, blasting the Sword of Torm with the full power of a divine smite, radiant energies tearing into the wound. Almost like a mirror, both Davrin Canes fall to their knees, one panting and crying, the other bleeding and dying.
I remember this day well. Future visions in the mist, convinced it was some hell. Until I slew my older self, the first step towards making the future I saw fully come to pass. Now you are truly on that path.
With that, the Elder Davrin dies. Young Davrin weeps and cries out to Torm. In desperation, he tries to shatter Horizon's edge to prevent the future he saw from ever materializing. Again and again, he slams it into the ground until his body is spent and he collapses in exhaustion. One thought still lingering in his mind.
This cannot be. This cannot be.
One final time through the mist we go, coming upon a small figure. Bram Brambleheel, looking desperately for his dog, Pasha.
Where am I now? Am I alone? Where's Pacha? He was right by my side.
Bram frantically looks around the barren wasteland for his companion, finally letting out a loud whistle.
Pacha!
And with that, Pacha is mystically summoned to Bram's side.
You're back. I missed you, boy. Do you know where we are? Or where we should go?
While his presence means Bram is no longer alone, Pacha offers no answers.
Pacha, I don't know what this is, but I know we can make it through this. Together we can do this, can't we?
Bram surveys his surroundings. Like the others, he sees the mountain and the tower. Unlike the others, he heads towards the mountain, drawn to the natural landmark over the constructed one. He and Pacha head into the mist and soon find themselves lost and disoriented.
It's hard to tell which way is which. I feel lost in every sense. Here, Pacha, take this, so I can find you through the mist.
Bram affixes a crystal compass to Pacha's collar that would allow him to find Pacha if they got separated. As he does so, the fire spirit appears and begins to guide them. As they trudge along, Bram sees decayed trees and attempts to connect to them, but fails. As he does so, he hears a voice in his head.
Can't connect to the land. What kind of druid are you?
What? Who's that?
Lost? No sense of direction? Maybe if someone like Tala or Shale were here, you wouldn't be quite so helpless.
I'm just trying.
Rejected by the land? That machine is more of a druid than you'll ever be. If Nim knew what a failure you were. You've always known deep down the Bright Hound made a mistake choosing you.
the voice continues to harangue Bram. His mind is filled with images. Arnold performing druidic marvels. Nim, the druid who once welcomed him, now shunning him from her circle. The bright hound turning its back, rejecting him. As these visions assail him and the voice continues to undermine his spirit, Bram steps slow, the despair growing heavier and heavier.
Bright Hound, if you're listening, go ahead. Take these gifts away. That's fine. I don't know why you chose me anyway.
But even as he despairs, Bram looks at Pacha and finds the will to press on, grounded by his pup's presence. He tries to tune out the voice, focusing on putting one foot in front of the other. As they approach a clearing in the fog, a scream in the distance catches his ear. Bram starts to race after it, but the words of the voice hit him like a punch to the gut.
You could try to help, but why bother? You're no hero, just a piddling shifter who's only survived his delusions of grandeur by his halfling luck. You know you're not worthy. You'll just get yourself or someone else killed.
No, that's not true. Except maybe it is. I don't know why I was chosen. I don't know if I can do this. Maybe it's best if I just stop.
Bram stops, motionless in the mist. The sounds in the distance intensify, but Bram continues to stand motionless, defeated, as the voice continues to whisper to him.
You're a fraud. You're not good enough. You think you're worth something? Why couldn't you be more like the others? Everyone else seemed to figure this out.
Bram startles from his daze as Pasha butts his head into the back of Bram's knees, nudging him forward towards the sound of someone in need.
Urging me on. You're right, boy. Of course. Even if I'm not worthy, even if I'm not just stumbling through. I still have to do what I can do. Now let's go see what we're supposed to do.
Bram reaches down and gives Pacha a scritch behind the ears. And then they both race towards the sound of howling as the voice
Life
whispers
pointless.
on.
Not even Pacha loves you. You're a warden in title only. I must admit that started off real well. The elf despaired before I even did a thing, and then I brought the monk down to her knees. The knight's enraged, but I guess I overlooked one thing. That little shifter, well, he called upon some help. Did not expect his spirit pop. It helped him to press on, but what's that? Puppy's gone. On his pain I'm still going to sob. Oh, look now, by following the howl, he's made his way towards his monk friend through the mist. Same with the other two as well. Let's have some fun and keep that torment ever and pissed. The elf, the Asimar, sees as his guiding star. I wonder how he'd deal if she were gone. Through this eternal dusk, I'll send a mindless husk to drain her life, make her one of its own. And now let's settle in as the battle begins. Who will survive, the husk or sorcerer elf? I will say either way, something will die today. A grand time if I do say so myself.
Lady Eliana, are you well? Are you you?
Oh, Davrin. I thought I was alone here.
Well, you are not alone anymore, my friend. Tell me, have you seen anyone else here? Did anything attack you or appear suddenly out of the mist?
I did, but I left them for just a moment, and then they were gone when I returned.
And you are certain that they were real? The things that I saw, the fiend that I encountered in the mist, he tormented me with visions, future deeds. It cannot be real. It cannot be real.
They seemed real. They said they had been attacked by some goblins. I helped heal some of the injured.
And then what happened? You seem troubled.
When I used my magic, they shied away, and then they disappeared. I thought it was related.
Lady Eliana, if others cannot recognize the good in your magic, then they are fools of no consequence. You have saved my life and the lives of dozens of wardens, more times than I can count. I confess, I was feeling lost, hopeless. But we are together now, and together we have never failed to triumph. I am very glad to stand by your side again.
And I'm glad to have you here as well, Davrin. I'm glad I'm not alone again.
How do I rise up again? How do I keep fighting on? How do I get past the future I saw and still call Wanda my home?
How do I trust others now? How do I share my gifts again? How do I believe I won't be abandoned and still call Wanda my home?
Through the mist,
I see you and remember
all of the times you have saved me.
and I hope that whatever may come, we'll endure it. When we have stood side by side,
We have been unstoppable with our gifts combined. The sorceress who selflessly heals those around her.
the paladin who never will yield. As wardens, we've survived many dangers.
And won many victories together. And I know that
Whatever may come, we'll survive it.
can I be the knight that I was without becoming the monster I slew? I cannot accept Torm would ever expect me to strike down a warden like you.
Can I share my healing with friends without my being abandoned again? I cannot accept they would ever reject me, not when they're wardens like you. Now we're attacked by some strange and mindless husk. He steps up to protect me.
She heals me once again, just like she's done so many times before.
And together we lay waste to the monster. There's nothing we can't defeat together. Whatever horrors may come,
Whatever hazards we are to face, a domain of dread or some abyssal prison, they cannot keep us from our home.
together we will reach the top of this tower and discover a way to get home. Wardens of Wanda, we will stay together, and together we'll find our way home.
You watch as the Lord's mindless husk, a creature that was once one of his previous victims, attacks Davrin and Eliana. The battle is fierce but quick, and the final blow against the brute comes from Eliana's spiritual weapon. As it falls, the Lord lets out a little noise that could be annoyance or amusement. It's hard to tell. Then, with a flick of his wrist, the ball refocuses on the other pair of wardens as Bram and Pacha approach a distraught Tala.
Tala? Is that you?
What? Bram? Why? What are you doing here?
I'm lost. What are you doing here?
I don't know. Bram, I really screwed up.
It's okay. I'm here and you're here and we're gonna be okay. Who's that woman on the ground? Did she try to hurt you?
No, that's what I meant. I made a mistake and now she's dead and it's all my fault. I was just trying. I tried so hard, but I can't seem to stop doing awful things.
I haven't ever seen you do an awful thing. I've only seen you do incredible things. From that first day we met, and you shifted and talked down a pack of hungry wolves in the marsh, and then that night, when we stayed up late by the campsite, and you told me what a shifter was and what we are. I mean, I still don't really know what I am, but I know a heck of a lot more thanks to you.
Maybe. I remember us talking about how strange it was to find each other in the middle of nowhere, in a swamp, and now we find each other in a fog.
Has it talked to you? The mist?
No.
It talked to me, laughing at me. I thought it was my thoughts, all jumbled around like they always are. Or maybe it was the bright hound and they were angry at me. Or maybe it was that light or the mist itself, or...
I worry it might be neither. There's something else that's behind this, that's doing this to us. It's cruel, some sick joke.
Do you think all of this is actually real?
Feels real.
We have to try to get out, though, right? We have to keep trying to go through the mist.
I don't know.
We can try, Tala. Together. Pacha, he helped me get this far. And now you've got me and I've got you. It's like what's carved in that bracelet I made you.
And what if this place keeps playing tricks? What if it's bringing us back together and then it's just going to rip us back apart? Aren't you scared of that?
I'm scared, yeah, but... I have an idea. I gave this to Pacha when we got here. It's just a little crystal, but I have a compass that always points to it, no matter where it is. We have to keep going, but if whatever this place is, if that mist or that light or whatever else tries to separate us again, this way I can find you.
Bram, that's sweet.
Tala, the pack howls together. Not alone. You are here with me. Wherever light leads on, together we can make it through.
Not alone. This is real. You see what I've done. I tried to be good like you, but that's not me.
Through shifting weather, we remain the pack house together. Our refrain The past is set in stone, but our future is our own, for you are not alone. No if, but, or whether, we'll remain the pack house together. Our refrain, lost in the unknown, though you're never far from home, for you are not alone.
You are here. I try to be who you need. My guilt weighs me down. I have no strength left.
You are here, but not yourself. I must lead us through. You can count on me.
Like birds of a feather, we'll remain the pack house together. Our refrain, though freezing winds have blown and chilled us to the bone, we are not alone. I know that forever we'll remain the pack house together. Our refrain, though life may knock us prone, my time with you has shown that we are not alone.
Still I wonder what I'm supposed to be. Chase a hero's dream. Is that really me?
Do not doubt yourself, I'll tell you what I see. A brave and kind soul, strong as an oak tree. A friend is a tether, will remain.
The pack house together. Our refrain, a flurried blow you've thrown.
You've slung a magic stone. You do not fight alone.
My friend, come whatever, we'll remain.
The pack house together. Our refrain, I see how much you've grown.
You don't have to atone.
You are not alone. Through shifting weather, we'll remain the pack house together. Our refrain, a past is set in stone, but our future is our own, for you are not alone.
Oh dear me, they are coming to my door. What shall I do now that they've all begun to come? You may think that my plan has come undone. Well, don't be daft. Next step's, of course, to crush their hope. These heroes I will taunt, my power I will flaunt. I think it's finally time for us to meet before In their mind, I whisper to them, come and play now, and invite them to join me inside my castle. 2 by 2, they come into my lair. To each pair I appear and get things started. Tease and taunt, misdirect and cut them down some. Remind them that they are in my power. They're afraid, insecure, and filled with anger. Every wound I've laid bare just whets my hunger. With a smirk, I welcome them to my game.
Have to say, this whole place doesn't feel that welcome. Snatched away from our home without our permission. With a growl, I show him how I feel.
Who are you? Where are we? I ask this person. He just laughs and insults, ignores our questions, his words rend. But Tala defends me.
I shrink back as the Lord voices all my self-doubt, mocks our pain, twists the knife, laughs at all we've been through. Defiantly, Davrin replies,
No, this vileness will not stand. The future which I saw will never be. We will not indulge your torture in the name of mighty Torm. Send us home or prepare for a smiting.
At his threats, I just laugh and then take a powder. The 2 pairs then proceed and see each other. Will they trust their eyes or disbelieve?
is it them?
Can it be?
How can we trust them after all of the things that we have been through?
I know deep down that they are real.
With my friends by my side, I spring to action. Divine wings manifest, fly to the Lord Chamber. But what's inside the villain can't be seen.
Oh, you popped your wings too soon. No smiting until you play fools find me. Oops, took too long and now your bright wings have gone away, leaving just the sweet taste of your regrets.
Divine sense overwhelmed like he's all around me.
Shift my form, listen close, a wild hunt to find him.
I call out, why not send us home?
Then the Lord just appears. Davrin tries to blast him, but the beams from his eyes just pass right through him. And then the fiend explained his game.
And everything that you need to return is right here, almost there in your grasp. You just have to take it. If you can pass by its guards.
On our own, we've survived worse than you can fathom.
Bring it on, our whole lives have made us survivors.
And we are stronger as a team.
Then a gesture of his hand, he dissipates and mind flayers appear. Davrin gives a shout of warning, for he knows what they can do. And with that cry, battle now begins.
Crystal floats in the air, that must be our target. Can't get past the mind flayers to try to grab it. I whistle out, call down the moonbeam.
Players scream and I feel my mind assaulted. We resist, but no use, they manage to stun us. Can only stare as they attack.
In a flash, Davrin's down, followed close by Tala. With the word, I heal her, then I Misty step 2. Help out Davrin once again.
Spring awake in its grasp, I'm really mad now. Stunning strike, it succeeds, and I laugh in its face. Before I kick it in inside.
Then Tala strikes the creature dead. A blow upside its head finishes the deed. I call my spirit hound to heal. The flayer spies its meal. Its tendrils start to drill into my head.
Oh, looks like I win again. Oh, my pet's about to snack on some shifter brain. What will be more delicious, the taste of all his fear, or the survivor's guilt that wrecks the rest of you? Either way, this has been one delightful day.
Heedless of all the damage I would be taking, I advance towards the creature inside the moonbeam. My skin sizzles and I swing away.
Paralyzed, I just watch the horizon break through. The flare fades to mist as the edge slices true. My mind clears. The Lord appears.
He says this was all such fun, but now the game was done and we could leave. He grabs the floating crystal and throws it to the ground. The mist rise up and we are whisked away. In the mist, we reflect on what went on and wonder if we will be fine.
I am fine.
I'm fine.
I am fine.
I am fine.
Well, that was fun. They put on quite a show, and in the end, they managed to find their way back. But that's alright. They left here as broken as they began. I'll save them for a future snack, despite how hard they tried. My hunger satisfied. The pain and doubts were strong enough to feel. Next time I need to eat, know where I'll find my treats. Torturing wardens gives me such a thrill. Of course, just because I feasted well doesn't mean that you're out of the woods, my friends. For now that my other guests have gone, well, I'm afraid it's time for you to meet your end. I'm not the only one who likes to feast upon the tiny things you people call the brain. Feel free to cry and scream as I see your tears stream. While you bleak life, my mind flayers will drain. And all who live should fear my dead refrain. For in the end, I am the one who'll reign.
heading back to Blair and dark through the mist. After all that has gone on, my question is this: what's the point of all those fiendish plans? Did he just torture us because he can? I don't know what was real inside that land. At least I'm not alone.
At times I think my blessings might be more of a curse. The moonbeam that I summoned hurt Davern the worst. Am I fine? Not this time. It's hard to see who I am or what I'm supposed to be. My thoughts are a mess of confusion. This place does truth with illusion. The Lord's laughter swells and echoes behind. His whispers dwell and burrow at the back of my mind. Though the fight was bad, we're coming out of the dark. Remember to keep trying and recall Potch's bark. The Lord was foul, but I can howl, 'cause Tala's with me, a wolf's best friend. It's who I'm supposed to be.
When the others were gone, cautious eye pressed on. Through the fog I wandered, trying to survive all on my own. I tried not to fight, didn't turn out right, and I worried that the beast in me has grown. But in that dark night, Brum became my light, and together we are stronger than alone.
In visions of my future deeds, I made all my friends bleed to claim a victory over they. Must that be the way? My inner doubt has been laid bare by this fiend's vicious snare. I will smite him. This I pledge, I swear this oath by horizon's edge. 'Cause in Torm's name. I will never be that of the tavern. In Torm's name, I will never let that future happen. In Torm's name, I will do all I can to protect them. In Torm's name, the things I saw would never reflect him. Deep inside my heart, the desire does form to cleanse all of blood spurt for you, my mighty Torm.
Through the fog we wandered, hoping not to be all on our own. We will be alright, 'cause our bonds are tight, and in each other we have found a home.
Bramble Heel of Clarendar knows friendship comes first. Our hero song's beginning, and I'm learning that verse. The brave and bold, our home a hold, and ultimately he wonders our pack. That's where we're supposed to be.
In Torm's name, I will stand up to
All I
infernal
want is to
legions.
share my
In
healing
Torm's name, I will smite down hordes of demons.
giving aid and
In
helping
Torm's
others.
name, I will cross swords
When
with
I can.
undead assassins. In Torm's name, I will face the wrath of chromatic
as I roam
dragons.
this
Resolute as the mountain before the storm, secure in my duty and faith in mighty Torm.
Running through the night, chasing the moonlight, hoping that one day I might find a home.
At least one place I know I'm supposed to be.
Resolute as the mountain before the storm, secure in my duty and faith in mighty Torm.
A solitary life I led as I roamed this land, but now I've found my home. Now we've found our home.
This has been a 3NG production of The Journey Home, a post-show recaps Dungeons and Dragons and Discord musical. Featuring Melissa as Tala Petrishore, Austin as Bram Brambleheel, Brenna as Eliana, David as Davern Kane, and Adam H. as the Lord of Bloodspur. Narration by Todd the Librarian. Music by Adam H. Editing by Touchdown Tommy. Thank you all for listening.
What do you even say? What am I supposed to say here, you guys? Like, we spend a lot of time together, and you guys have, like, seen me get pretty vulnerable in, like, a pretty small space. But, like, who? What am I supposed to say here? Like, what do you guys have to say for yourself? I mean, I will say for you, that's incredible on every level. All of you for like the technical achievement that you've created right there. But the like merging of all of your passions, your professions, your trades, like the journeys of your lives to like get you here with the skill set to like take this stuff that we do like to that. Bravo, you know, it really is like next level. And I'm sorry that like I'm not more composed perhaps, but they can't hear me. I have my mic muted for all of that. I'm just I'm
listening on Twitch, Rich. No, I
I'm
heard
showering you guys with praise. I've had like a really emotional week, and you guys are just like so talented and so awesome. And, like married so many things here, and the players, to David, to Brenna, and to Melissa and to Austin. That level of like vulnerability to put that out there, like, oof, it's so good. It's so good, you guys. I'm floored. What do you guys have to say?
I mean, they just did such an amazing job, right? Like, it can't even like be understated. We're going to talk about like all the ridiculously, incredibly talented work that Todd and Tommy did here as well. But like, man, all four of them just like put their hearts out there for us and like made our job so much easier than what I thought it was going to be. And I don't know. I'm like an emotional mess, obviously, at this point, but like they did so good.
Yeah, just to echo Adam, it's like any feedback, like we gave a note this time, basically giving like recording stuff, and they were just so receptive and just such a great crew to work with. Like each musical, it's like a new family in my life, and like Todd and Adam are always going to be my brothers. Like these are my people now, so it's like it was definitely hit harder this time. I've listened to it many times, and this was definitely the hardest hit I think it will ever reach for me.
Yeah, I mentioned in the chat at one point that we did the individual sessions for each of them, and Brenna with Eliana was our first one that we ran, and we were kind of a little nervous because like, okay, we're gonna be like trying to like torture them, and we're like, I just don't know. I don't know if what we have set up for Eliana is going to really do it like some of the others. Like the others, we like knew like, okay, yeah, this is gonna twist night. With Eliana, we just weren't really sure. And we got in there and like almost instantly we're like, okay, so you transfer to someplace and you're alone. And Brenna it's like Eliana falls to her knees. She's alone. She's devastated. What's happened? Has she lost her friends forever? And we're all just sitting there in the chat going, holy crap, this is going to work. This is going to work.
We're like, let's end this session here. It's done. Like she's already there.
But I mean, all four of them just gave us that level of commitment to everything. They just all just dove in head first. I mean, yeah, we created these situations to kind of torture their characters, but then they embraced it wholeheartedly and just wore their emotions on their sleeve. And it was just like a joy to watch and behold, and to be able to like work with them and then take that and try and craft that into songs that really capture that. That was, I think, like the hard thing. Like there's like so much that went on in those sessions that we couldn't get into the musical itself. There's just so much going on, and we did our best, but there are things that just could not make it. But it was just such an amazing experience all the way around.
There's like the game we play and the story you tell afterwards, and like this is the most like incredible way to retell the story, Todd. I'll just say to like all you guys, like I joke about it, but like I've been playing in Ravenloft for like whatever it is, 30 something years, and like this is far and away the best thing I've ever seen come out of Ravenloft. Strahd can like go sit on a stake, man. Like I don't know about LOB, but just like the entirety of like the efforts of this is like you guys as a team like running the players through this, and the players like, holy cow, this is really good. What else? What do you want to talk about? I don't know what to do. I'm trying to like keep it together here, you guys. What else should we discuss?
We came prepared with talking points.
I know.
Or at least Adam and Tommy came prepared with talking points. I didn't, because I didn't think I was going to be able to. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to be here to join in. So they have the talking points, but.
Yeah. What else did you guys want to discuss? You wanted to talk about like the process, I think, a little bit deeper, and like the choices you made, certainly. But where do you want to go, Adam? You were the ringleader.
Yeah. Well, so it's like that point exactly that I'd love to start with. I've been sort of like wearing this mantle of the ringleader, but I like have to emphasize time and time again, like a million times over. Everyone must understand this. Todd and Tommy are insanely talented and have done an insane amount of work on this. I mean, we've like linked the lyric sheet, and Todd is an absolute lyrical genius. I mean, we like go back and forth with like the music and stuff. We do so many iterations, and then like to see, I don't know, it's so easy for me as like the one writing the songs to like have this vision of, okay, this is what I want this to sound like, or this is how I want this to feel. But then like Tommy's ability to craft that into something that I like listen to it and I'm like, oh my God, like we did, like it's coming like from my head into that, and Tommy's like shaping this to be something so beautiful and amazing afterwards. So like we just have to like start there. If I cannot understate enough the amount of like work and effort and talent both of these two guys have here, and it's like such an honor and like such a pleasure to get to work with both of you.
You really can hear it. I was DMing with Todd a little bit right at the end there, and like God, like really a lyrical genius indeed, and like Tommy, the final product, like it's magnificent, dude. As I was like muted and rambling at you guys, I'm just saying, right? Like we all go on these journeys through lives, and like part of being a good DM is like translating your life experience in a way that like, you know, you could bring the stuff that you've like dealt with, the things you know are like deeply invested in, and the way that all of you have like merged your passion and your talent and your investment, your time, your skill set into this like thing that we all do together, right? This like game that like half the people in our lives, you tell them like, oh yeah, you play Dungeons and Dragons, and like you get a reaction that is not the same as you get from like any of the people hanging out here, right? So yeah, well done, like all three of you indeed. Yeah, what else? What do we got?
Just to go off that, I just want to say that like I think for me what was cool this time was I feel like we jumped in way sooner. Like I feel like for this one it was like, all right, Todd joined the team, then Tommy. It was like, and we were all right there from the beginning. And so like I make the joke a lot in the Discord, but you know I always say like Adam and I have the same brain, Todd and I. But it was coming up with the story. There was multiple times we jump on calls, and we have these long combos, and it was like someone say something, and it's like oh everyone else be like I was just thinking that the other night. Like we just bounce so well off each other, and in the story, no one was afraid to throw anything out on the table, and then the players, like Todd said, just picked up the mantle where we left it. And with that process, and also just like for me with the editing process, it was a lot different this time. In the first one, Adam did a lot of the musical side, and then I kind of just pieced it together, did a lot of the balancing, and did a lot of the after effects. And then with this one, it was kind of like Adam was like, "Hey, do you want to take it all?" And I said, "Yeah, why not?" Like this one,
Yeah, I got it. No big deal. Yeah.
No problem.
yeah. Because like I do edit in my life as my career, and so like just being able to take this on and try something fun and get that creative juices going some more, and this is just a blast for me.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy, Adam, you guys as like DMs of the Mooting Nine, as we're like affectionately termed, right? But like, you guys do a lot of stuff on the back end, right? Tommy, you having like joined us more recently, like there's so much work that goes unseen, right? And like, that's the only like kind of translatable metaphor that I have here, right? Especially like in the last 9 months, Adam, like working together collaboratively with like this big group of dungeon masters where we go on these moots and we joke that like they last 8-10 hours because like we get to the point that we start kicking ideas around, and like there's so much work it's like an iceberg, right? That's like under the surface, and man, you could feel it in this, the like totality of like what you've done here is like so much like greater, I think, than is like perceptible at a surface level, like and the collaboration as a team when you have that kind of like just great energy going, right? Like the way that it feeds each other and like all of you individually is freaking rad. Can I just ask, Todd, is this the first time you DM'd? Is that correct? Did I hear this right?
Yeah. So what we did is, like Adam mentioned at the beginning, we ran 7 different sessions over the course of this. Each of the individual encounters of the players were a session, then the 2 duet songs were based on sessions, and then the final battle was a session. So Adam ran the final battle, and then Tommy and I split up the other things. I did the Davrin and Braum individual sessions, and I did the Braum and Tala duo session. I didn't run any actual combat, even though there is combat in the Davrin session. It was not meant to be like a full combat. It was always going to be just like a narrative type thing.
Yep.
And then David, of course, is like, well, can I spend a spell slot anyway? Because Davin would fight him right now.
You send a paladin into a conversation. He's going to try to fight something.
Yeah. Yep. So we actually did that. But yeah, so it was me dipping my toes into the whole DM thing. Really there. So.
Dude, I love it so much. Like part of like what I was like trying to do when we started like building this thing up is like to inspire people to play, to like take the game, because you could do so many different things in so many like different formats with D&D, right? And what you guys have done here is so like kind of singular and unique. But like it's great when I hear people like running home games, and this is something well beyond that, but it really is like awesome. I love that like you dipped your toes into like that space for the first time.
Yeah.
It was like very cool to like see both of them, because so basically what it was a call where the three of us and one player would be there while like one of them was talking to the player, and like, you know, me and whoever wasn't, you know, talking would just be like furiously taking down notes and writing stuff. But like watching D&D one-on-one as like an audience was incredibly cool. And I have to say, like, I felt very comfortable, like, you know, handing that mantle off to Todd and off to Tommy of like, hey, run this, because our players were just so dang good. Like all four of them in each of those conversations brought it. It was like just them, right? It was just them and us. There's no like, you know, 12 people watching or anything like that. It's like just us. And they still like brought it with as much intensity, as much heart, as much emotion as like you heard. And I think it translated like to what they were singing.
I was saying to them how like vulnerable it is. Like I talk about D&D all the time, and like we do it in this semi-public format. Like we're a closed Discord. We play together in our Discord. We're not streaming on Twitch or whatever. But like as a community, we come in and watch each other, right? And usually the players at the table in that like home game, you're the audience for each other, right? I like came up playing a lot of solo D&D as like a DM, as a player. I've played a lot one-on-one, and it's so great. It can be like such an awesome, rewarding experience. And like yeah, I can imagine it like being awesome. And all four of you guys singing, playing characters, like, man, hats off. Incredible, really.
And with the sessions, to go off that, like one of the things we talked about early on and did was before every session, this was different than like a live session where you're seeing it. You know, there's a lot that we've talked about that you guys are missing, but we really wanted to get them to tell us when we're taking notes what the emotion behind it. We really dug into how they're feeling in the moment, and I think that showcased in the writing of it, because they really that's a lot to ask a player to be like, you know, you're already being vulnerable, but be even more vulnerable for us and really describe what's going on, and they really nailed that for us.
I think like you're hitting on a thing that I love about how many different like ways there are to role play, right? Like we read books, you watch stories, there's all these different kind of perspectives, right? First person, third person, all this kind of stuff. And to be able to like really like dig into that, that's a thing that like you have the power to do in any D&D game at any table, wherever you're sitting, right? To like really lay bare to the other players at the table, not necessarily their characters, who are maybe or maybe not like good at insight or paying attention or even concerned with like where you're coming from, where your character's coming from. But it's this awesome tool that you have to tell the dungeon master, to tell the other players at the table, like, yo, this is what's going on with this person, like where they're coming from, what's motivating them, what's driving them, what's holding them back. And God, for you guys to like translate it into this, it's just I'm still like floored, right? I'm floored.
Yeah, and we just like all four of them just know their characters so well.
Yes.
As part of it, and so we use. I mean, all of us have watched them play. You know, some of us have DM'd them playing before, but we like interacted with them in PvP towns. So we really tried to craft the interactions like based off of what we know of their characters, and trying to go, okay, we know what Davrin is, you know, most, you know, concerned with and afraid of. We know what Bram struggles with. We know what Tala struggles with. We know what Eliana struggles with. So because they all have like made these really vibrant, fleshed out characters, it made our jobs really easy trying to come up with ways to torture them. But also their reactions to it just show just how well they know their characters and just how quickly they rolled with the punches or didn't. Just how quickly they reacted to the scenarios that we put up out there. Again, just made it so much easier for us to craft this because they had such great grasp on who their characters are.
I just want to hit on this one thing, right? Melissa and Austin are in the chat right now, and they're talking about the theme of home, like coming up organically across all these people. And so I'm going to try to keep it together. But yeah, like we've built this thing together, and so much of us in the last year, right? Post-show recaps, it's just a year old. Like October last year it started, and so here we are, October 31st, 2021. And 2021 is a harrowing year in the world, on the planet Earth, you know? We've all like been through so much collectively, wherever you are in the world, because we're all over the place, right? Like we're scattered around the globe. Worth noting, like Austin in here is in Australia, right? Melissa's in Vancouver. Like you guys are all over the place, right? Texas, California. Like we're scattered across the world, but we've like built this home together, right? And like them like giving you all that, this play by post town, and like the long form adventures and D&D general chat, and like the late night post show D&D caps. Like we have this opportunity to like explore so much and to share so much and to like build so many of these connections. Like to hear them hitting on notes from like the very first play by post that we ran last January, you know, like God, this stuff moves me in a way that like should be evident. But like truly to like the 4 players to like put that out there in a public space to like share with us, and then like to say like yeah with the world at large, to like let us put it out here on the internet for like anybody to come find and like be inspired by. It's like big feels. You guys, you got me.
Yeah, I mean, it like definitely is not insignificant. We like talked about it before we started the whole thing of like, we wanted this to be a story. We wanted this to be like a full emotional understanding of the characters. And I believe that like we've done that. And I think it comes through if for no other reason than these characters have like shown so bright that, you know, it's just really showed.
And the foursome was like a perfect, when we were going through the process, it just like worked itself out. And the combinations, the duos, like it was like, you know, you got to put the shifters together. Like that just made sense. And then Eliana and Davin, like she's always saving them. You got to put them together. And so that worked out. But there was still, like Todd was saying, they knew the characters better than us most of the time. There was like Bram is a great example of a character that we definitely went in thinking one path, and he surprised us time and time again. With Pacha was such a beacon that we didn't see coming, that kind of shaped the whole musical in a way.
Yeah. Pacha being there to give Bram hope was not something that we had planned on. It was not something that we expected. And him summoning Pacha, and then Pacha kind of being the thing that gave Bram the will to go on, was something that really did shift how the Tala-Bram interaction. If it hadn't been for Pacha giving Bram like the courage to go on, would Bram have reacted the same way whenever he came across Tala? I don't know. He may have still gone, oh, wait, Tala needs me and I got to step up, but maybe they would have just wallowed together more. It's really hard to say. But yeah, there's several things in Austin's thing where he did things that I was not expecting. And I was running it. That was my second time DMing someone. I'm like, oh, I did not expect that. Okay. And my first taste of like, okay, the players are not going to follow your plans. You got to roll with the punches type thing. But yeah, the Pacha thing definitely and we did we talked a little bit, like Pacha kind of disappears from the musical a little bit at one point, and Pacha did disappear from the play at one point because poor Pacha, whenever everyone else got stunned by the mind players, Pacha did get poofed at that point in time.
Oh, thank God! I got to be honest, man. Yeah, let's get real here. Like you touched Pacha at the end of that thing, and we riot.
We didn't mention that in the actual musical.
It's
yeah,
okay.
Pacha,
it was good.
Pacha was not
Pacha
around.
was off screen. Yeah, it was good. It was good for all of us. We appreciate that as a community. The Bram stuff is hitting me like particularly hard this week, and like, whew, man, like really, you guys killed it. You killed it. Yeah.
Well, to that end, we nearly killed Bram as well.
I've heard.
I don't know if like that was abundantly clear in the finale or in that battle song, but they fought 2 mind flayers. And it was just the 4 of them against 2 mind flayers, and everyone knows me. They know I'm going to like come correct when in one of these battles, and it got close. I think ultimately he was like 1 failed save away.
I've heard it's one
that mind flayer ability to take the brain, and like, boy, I'm not going to lie to you, Rich. I was like dreading that moment of like, God, what am I going to put in the DM channel? Like, what am I going to say?
If you would have killed Austin, for anybody who's unaware, amongst the Mooning 9, Austin is the Time Lord. You know, he is our timekeeper. Austin has been like really great about like advocating with me that we need to keep a calendar, you know, and he runs the infamous pocket watch sessions in our D&D games. And gosh, yeah, if you would have killed Bram, like we burn it all down. There's no chance. Yeah, no.
It was very close, but no, it was so amazing. That final battle was so fun. The climbing the tower, fighting mind flayers, got to play with mind flayers. That was very exciting and fun. to get to do on one of those domains of
We
Jed.
have had some like quiet ramping up about like where are the mind flayers in the like general.
They've been
chat.
here.
It's like
They've been here for 5
all
months. But
along.
Been here since June. That
Exactly.
battle session happened at the beginning of June because I was at my dad's house actually, and his internet went out. I was like trying to be the chronicler, taking notes of the battle session, and my dad's internet goes out, and I completely lose. Like I miss one of the mind players dying. I reconnect, and one of the mind players
Oh,
is dead.
no.
I'm like, what happened? How did that happen?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think I jumped to my cell phone, started playing them on my cell phone, to then record it on my computer so we could have something. And potentially, when Todd, that was a lot.
What Pasha getting poof? What other stuff happened off screen that like we didn't quite make it? I heard something about grass stains in the chat along the way. What are some little nuggets that you want to give the peoples?
So the Davrin Eliana duo sequence. There was a full battle. Like you hear the song talking about finding the mindless husk, but we did our discussions with David and Brenna about it. We all kind of agreed that song needed to be about the emotions rather than the action. We don't need to do a blow by blow of the battle. That's not the important thing. What these two mean to each other is the important thing. So we kind of yada through it and kind of covered what happened like before and after. But the mindless husk was actually, so in Eliana's first interaction, she goes and she heals this little girl named Lilac. Well, Lilac was the mindless husk. They get to the tower. Lilac comes forward. The Mist grab her. She turns into this basically if you read Marvel Comics, the mindless ones from Marvel Comics, that's what Tommy based the mindless husk after. So basically, Eliana saved this little girl, and then in front of her eyes, this little girl gets transformed into this monster and tries to kill them. And so that's one little thing that we went back and forth on whether to include that and squeeze that in, but there just wasn't a whole lot of time in Eliana's interaction song to really dive into the weight of that. So bringing it up in here, it felt like it would be kind of like, wouldn't have the same punch. And so we just didn't really mention it. But that is like one other thing that we did to kind of twist the knife on Eliana for that.
Twisted the knife. You're a natural dungeon master, Todd. What are we even talking about here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wrote like 99% of all the LOB stuff that was in the song, the insults and everything. I wrote everything except, for the record, Adam was the one who came up with the line, "Pacha doesn't even love you." That was all Adam. I did not do that song. That was Adam.
Brutal,
But, all the other LOB horrible insults of Bram, that was all my doing.
I just, Rich, to your question of like, what did we leave out? I think like the thing that is most vivid for me, that final like the battle, like the final battle, them going up the tower, he kept them split up in pairs, and like for 15 minutes on each pair, just taunted them. We had like this whole 45-minute ordeal of just like absolutely destroying them emotionally before we started the battle with the mind flayers, and we just like, it didn't make sense to put a whole nother song there. Like we couldn't ramp it up too much, but like, man, we played it out. Like I got to play the LOB for like 2 hours of just like absolutely going in on them. And I wish that like a little bit more of it had made the final cut, but like that stands out as like a big thing that we didn't get to include, but like, boy, did it have a lot of impact on especially that final battle. Yeah.
Well, I think that lucky for you, you have situated yourself such that your investment in like understanding and exploring the depth of the character of the LOB will like yet pay off for you and the community at large, it seems.
The LOB is one of those characters. It was like, I think Adam, like I said, Bluesburg, Adam pitched everything. Adam pitched the LOB, and then we all just kind of, again, it was just like our brains, we're working on 100, because it was like he'd say something and then I'd be like, what if the LB was like kind of like this? And we like, for the songs, we had a clear inspiration, and no one's said it yet, so I'm not going to expose it yet myself, but there was like a clear, this kind of like taunting arrogance from the LOB, and that kind of drove a lot of his appearance. I said it's like almost like a brainchild of me, Todd, and Adam just thrown together, and then Adam just presented it to you guys beautifully for us. It was exactly what we wanted him to do, and he killed it.
He's the worst. He sucks so much.
I love writing him so much. I had way too much fun writing all of his horrible lines.
King Herod from Jesus Christ Superstar, is that it? Bugbear's throwing out.
We're close. Yeah, we're close.
I
That's
love
definitely
Jesus Christ Superstar. I could sing that musical rail to rail. My problem is, I have a character I can't sing, so I can't. And you guys are really. I'm joking, but yeah, I've been in Ravenloft like a million times, you guys. I've fought many Dark Lords. Like, I hate this guy. I hate him. I hate him.
Man, our mission was accomplished. Like every time the players would be like, "You people, you ruined my character. You wrecked our character." I'm like, all right,
Good.
excellent.
And there's even more insults that hit that cutting I went for. Thank Adam. As an editor, I'm always like, more stuff. And I was like, Adam, here's these lyrics I just wrote. Just start recording all these insults. None of them made it into the musical.
There was like a full hour where I was just sitting here at my desk, just like shouting into this microphone
The
of just like
extended
insults.
cut is just
And then I get this message from Tommy. He's like, all right, we're not including any of them. And I'm like, what?
I do. David mentions in the chat his son Jack, of course, has been subjected to listening to our stuff as David's been working on it. But Jack loves the LOB. Jack loves the LOB. The point where we actually, I wrote up something and Adam performed a happy birthday message and song to Jack on his birthday as the LOB.
Oh my God. Is Pia in the chat doing cameos for kids' birthday parties? Is that what I just heard here? Holy Moses, good job. Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that David's son is just like, yeah.
Well, speaking of that, like,
LOB.
that's where, like, speaking of that, like, everyone's families were so supportive in this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just need to give them the shout out. The amount of time and energy, the amount of times we were like, record this, and they were like, all right, we can do it. And like, there was no questions from significant others or families or friends. And it was just, thank you. If you're watching this, thank you for giving them to us.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want to like blow up anyone's spot here, but the number of times we would get a message or like get a file that was labeled like version 14, like recorded in a closet, and it was just man, you got like a family over there, like you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, huge shout out to everyone's support system, whatever that might look like to everyone who was a part of this. So
No, well pointed out. Exactly. I mean, it is, I'm sure, like an incredible time investment that you guys got from everyone. I just can't get over it, all of it, like every facet, right? Just again to the players for like being so vulnerable to like share all this stuff. For you guys like putting so much love and passion alongside the like time and the effort and like the actual like sweat equity that you put into this thing. Like it's something that you all should be like super proud of. Hold your heads high wherever you go. Yeah, I don't know. Final beats. What do you guys? Final words, parting thoughts. What should we discuss?
I think that that'll do it for us. I think that we've like hit on the main things. I really hope. I think like my biggest hope for this whole thing is that the emotion and the story that was there when we played it out, that these characters really brought, shines through the music. And I think that if we've done that, if people are understanding what happened and are like moved by it as much as we were moved by it in real time, I think that that's like a great victory.
Yep. And that's musical too. And who knows what's next?
I think on those thoughts,
Adam knows what's next. Adam hasn't told us. Like for like the last month, Adam's like, "Well, I'm done running my music for this musical, so I have all this music ready for another one." But like, no, Adam, slow down. We have to finish this one first.
I've heard the rumors. Keep your ears peeled, ladies and gentlemen. Give him like 7 months for the next one. It'll probably be even crazier.
Yeah, we're hoping not to take quite as long on the. Hoping to find a happy medium between the first one and this one.
I'm sure you will. This was delightful. I will end the podcast here. We can continue to like hang out for a little bit. That was really ridiculous.
Was that good?
Yeah.
Should I do the classic Rich? Was that good?
Yeah, please.
Sorry, was my mic too hot?
Yeah, get a check in. No, your mic wasn't that hot.
Okay.
It's really funny that I was like mute when we came back on. You guys, yeah.
I was panicking. I was like, if he calls on me, I don't know what to like. I'm like, what do I do?
I was still listening on Twitch, so I'm glad.
Yeah, I had just muted Twitch, and I'm like, okay, can Twitch hear him? I went and unmuted Twitch just as Rich.
I'm really sorry.
I unmuted at the moment that Rich unmuted in StreamYard too, so I suddenly had like Rich and both for both feeds going.
I am not the editor that Tommy is, right? So I have like like all these audio mixers open of like the thing playing to try to get it. I needed to like play into the call, play onto the stream, play over. And so thank you for bearing with the like technical issues. Really incredible, you guys. Hats off. I'm like beyond impressed. I can't recall a Halloween that I've spent like more invested and like excited about something, and like thank you all for like hanging out and supporting them for doing this.
Good. My roommate decided to vacuum right at the end, so this is perfect.
Good time.
Yeah. And I mean, Rich, you listen to that first one. The first one, it was fun to make this. It's like, it's weird, but I'm so nerdy about this stuff. So it's like every time I made a small tweaks, I'm like, it's so fun to me while I'm doing, and I feel like a madman. Like, I actually listen to you guys on Hang and Chill. Like most nights, I would just like stay up listening, muted, and just be like doing this thing and having you in the background, and just being like madman scientist. It was fun.
Yep. I get it, man. I mean, that's like me. I like, well, related always back to Dungeons and Dragons, but the small tweaks, the like little adjustments, the like, you know, like, yeah, it's exciting. You nerd out on the stuff that like you're passionate about, right? Super, super cool. I just can't get over it. Do you guys have any questions for these three while we have them all like sitting here? We'll probably all go migrate to a place where we can all talk together and you can ask them yourselves.
Yeah, I saw someone that asked in the chat how Adam felt playing an Evil Lord.
Oh yeah, how did you feel about playing a Dark Lord?
I mean, like objectively, it was obviously very fun to like get to personify that. I think that like it's very clear that he sucks. Like it's it's like so obvious that like he's the absolute freaking worst. But then you know, there's always, you know, I think all the DMs can relate. There's always like something fun about being the baddie.
Oh, absolutely.
So
there is no question.
And like the music, it was like very fun. I think. The way we did it is like this stark contrast to how the players were feeling versus how the LOB was feeling the whole time. Like it was very fun music to not only record, but like, you know, I got to like sing that part, and it was very, very cool.
The trumpet for Pasha was like so freaking good. I just like huge, like Peter and the Wolf. Like, oh my god, I love it. Like I wanted all the other instruments for the other little critters running around. And then the like choice to go to Ravenloft. That was the other thing I really wanted to ask you about that I probably should have. Why Ravenloft?
I just love it. It's just like I just love it. I love it so much. And I was like, man, you know, there's so many emotional stories that we could easily tell not on Ravenloft, but like I have the book right here.
So, you do. Like, I know you love it. I was talking about it the other day to someone, and you know, there are all these different tools and different campaign settings from, especially back in like the 80s, 90s, that were published that had tools in the world building for like you as a DM to really like make sure you like have that DM leverage on your players. You know what I mean? The ways that they would like encourage you using the kind of setting to like create conflict, create adversity, create obstacles, you know. And Ravenloft is so overtly kind of like torment them. You know what I mean? Like, like go in. It's like the fear, horror, and madness saving throws were the ones that were added like just for Ravenloft back in the day, you know. They were
I think I just love the idea of it being like a very unknown place that they were going that felt like as not home as you could possibly get.
Heck yeah.
And so like we went as far away as possible. Of course, you have Davrin with Horizon's Edge on another plane. Like, you know, how can you like turn that down?
I think we were the first ones to take him to another plane. I think that's the first
shadow plane. He went through into the shadow plane back in like the assault on Connor's.
Eustace's birthday.
But that's never first. I mean, after because that's where he got Horizon's Edge. So I'm saying like after he got it and realized it could change when he went to another plane. We're the first. I think we were the first ones to take him to another plane. So because we're having like so Austin, hypothetically, if Davin went to another plane, what would his sword do?
What would happen?
I do maybe remember parts of that conversation. It's very, very cool. I dig it. Ravenloft is like a fun place to play within this context because it's literally like, you can't get out of this place. You know, and like there is officially a big bad. You know, I don't know. It's very
and it's like very blank slate too. I think right.
Yeah.
Like everything else is, I don't know, not maybe more fleshed out, but like any Domain of Dread and Ravenloft is like. It feels separate, you know. It feels like
the last time I went, I built my own, right? And they are all compartmentalized. You can take one and do whatever you want with it. Exactly, man. They like it's right there for you to put your mark on, right? super isolated. It's great. I love it, you guys.
You know, people in chat right now are talking about the fact that the three of us are running a PvP together that starts within the next couple of days, and they're wondering if there might be some sort of connection. I mean, I don't know
Probably.
why they would think that.
It's
I mean,
probably just a coincidence.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think it's just a coincidence. Could one of the mods ban this guy for me? Thank you. It's got to be a coincidence. I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like anything to me.
Probably fine.
Yeah, very cool stuff, you guys. Very cool stuff. I think that probably we'll part ways. And I say to like everybody who hung out with us tonight, thank you for stopping by. Thank you everybody for kicking the subs. This will like go up in the Dungeons and Dragons and Discord post-show recaps, Patreon podcast feed soon. Give me a week.
And thank you, Rich, for like letting us put this here. I mean, how many, we say it so many times. I know you're like, you know, but like, I just can't even emphasize. You say continuously how you have such a little part in this, but I would disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think that like this isn't a thing without like what you've built. And so like there's something really cool, at least to me, about like getting to do this on your stream here.
It means
it's really
lot
amazing
to me. I just want to say, like, explicitly, right? I took no part in the production of this musical. I did not play in it, but I like have tried to like take my passion and like snowballed it into this thing beyond my expectations. So like, thank you all three and the four of you like in the chat hanging out for like letting me showcase it here. There are like few things in my life that I have like real pride about, and this is like top of the list. This kind of thing, this whole thing that like we've done together. Like Josh says it to me all the time when I'm like, this podcast you built, and he's like, no, we built it, you know. And so thank you all, like, for real. I think with that